It's been a long haul for you. A few court challenges, beating those, and then winning in those primaries, finishing in first place in both the regular primary, the special primary. Now we're here at the special election. What has this campaign experience been like for you?
It's been an amazing experience. Certainly, I've been traveling up and down the 599, traveling to every single community in this district, meeting with voters, earning their support. We're working to earn every vote that we can. We've got some great volunteers that have been so generous with their time and resources to be calling and getting out our message. And so this has been a great experience, and we've got a lot of momentum. We're really excited about May 21st. I think our message of an experienced and tested and trusted candidate who can hit the ground running, that can tackle the issues that are facing our state and our country, is resonating, and we see that support building every single day.
And you're already traveling from Sacramento to start with. Now you also add in all these campaign stops too, and it's a big district. What have you learned from, I guess, different parts of the district that maybe people who are just thinking, oh, this is just the Bakersfield, Kern County seat might not understand? Well,
this is 4 counties. This is the Central Valley from Fresno County, Tulare County, Kings County, Kern County. And as I travel through every single community, the issues have consolidated around the similar concerns. We got to secure the border. We need to tackle the affordability crisis. You look at grocery costs, you look at gas prices, you look at utility bills, electricity bills. They've all increased from bad public policy that are coming from Sacramento and from Washington, D.C. They want someone that will defend our energy and water resources. We are the energy and food production capital of our country. And so that is the foundation of our district in the Central Valley. And so when they look at all the candidates, they know that I've got a proven record of defending the Central Valley, ensuring that we've had a strong voice in Sacramento, and I'll take that same fight to Washington, D.C.
I know one of the biggest battles, just both as far as the debate between the two candidates is concerned, and then also what constituents have been telling us is the border. What makes you a better candidate than Sheriff Boudreaux on the border?
When we talk about making national policy, we need someone that understands all the dynamics. Endorsed by President Trump, who was very effective in securing the border, endorsed by the National Border Patrol Council, the organization that represents the men and women who defend the border every single day. When you look at the policies, that person who is the person that understands these issues? How do we effectively increase the Border Patrol? How do we finish the wall? How do we get more judges on the borders and catch and release? There's legislation already drafted. When you look at who has drafted legislation, who understands issues, who has already fought against sanctuary state policies, I'm that candidate. I've got a proven track record in working to secure the border and ensuring that our communities are protected from the migrant crisis that's occurring. And so the choice is clear.
Yeah, he also says he deals with these people on a day-to-day basis, whether it's homelessness, the mental health crisis, just in his job as sheriff, and also just struggles that go along the border too. What difference in experience do you bring that maybe he doesn't, and maybe doesn't, accept that you bring to the table?
I think just look at my record. I've been in the legislature for the past 8 years, legislating and drafting legislation and putting forward solutions, building coalitions, passing it through the legislature, and getting it signed into law. I'm the only candidate that has done that. And so when you look at someone who has been an effective voice, who is experienced and understands the issues, whether it's the border, whether it's keeping our hospitals open, whether it's the economy, whether it's lowering taxes, or whether it's ensuring that we have educational access, you're electing someone that's going to make national policy on a whole host of issues. And when you look at the challenges facing our country, the list goes longer and longer every single day. And so when you're looking at the candidates and comparing them to each other, who is the most experienced? Who has a proven track record? And that candidate is me.
You're endorsed by former President Trump, also by former Speaker McCarthy, and a whole host of other people. I know that shows the support and perhaps helps identify you as a candidate for people who don't know you. Do you think it at all maybe hamstrings you in some policy arguments if you feel like you have to be tethered to policies from Trump or from Kevin McCarthy or for perhaps other leadership in the GOP today?
Well, I'm proud of the endorsements that we have. I'm proud of the endorsement of President Trump. I'm proud of the work that Speaker McCarthy has done. I've had over 29 members of the Republican Conference in Congress right now who's endorsed us. I've got support from the Fresno District Attorney, the Kern County District Attorney, mayors and city council members, and local business leaders from agriculture and energy. I am running to make effective public policy. I've seen the consequences of very bad public policy on everyday Californians. This is not an academic exercise. When you're electing a legislator who is making policy that affects not only our community but the entire country, you need someone that understands the issues and can hit the ground running right away. This is not a job where you're going to send in a rookie. You need someone that is going to be effective from day one. And that's why we've been so successful, and that's why our message is resonating so much.
Effective from day one. I know that it's kind of awkward jumping in the middle of a term, but in that same respect, what experience do you bring coming in from the minority party in the California Assembly to affecting in a small majority, but still a majority in Congress? What are those? What's the ideal start? How do you hit the ground running?
Well, look, when you're electing someone to represent our community in Congress, we've got to govern. We need someone that can put the coalition together and ensure that the concerns and the priorities of the Central Valley become national priorities. And that is a lot of work. I've, of course, served in Sacramento, and I'm serving in Sacramento right now in the super minority, and that has been an interesting and difficult training ground in terms of ensuring that our community has been able to have an effective voice in Sacramento. But I've been able to do it. I've been able to pass legislation on improving our supply chain, and getting our forest managed, to stopping street takeovers in our community, and working on the budget, ensuring that our community has gotten the state investments it needs, whether it's to our schools or to our hospitals. And so it's one of those challenges that I take very, very seriously, and I'm going to take that same determination and perseverance, and I'm going to take that to Washington, D.C. to ensure that our community gets the results it deserves.
Last week, I rudely didn't go up and talk to you, but I saw you at the hearing last week, the congressional hearing, and at the same time, too, you were also on tours with those Congress members. What did that experience teach you? I know you've done thousands of these things in the past, but now that you're very close to this seat, what did it feel like to be in, I guess, the same room, in the same atmosphere, I guess, understand those same issues with people that you may potentially serve with?
Well, the members of Congress that traveled to our district from the Western Caucus are all friends of mine, tremendous leaders throughout California and across the Western United States. And so, again, we've got to bring people together, and we were making national policy, whether it's on broadband, whether it's on the Farm Bill, whether it's on the supply chain, whether it's protecting our energy and water resources. Bringing those members together and being able to work together is critical. David Valadeo, John Duarte, Jay Obernolte, and other members, they're leaders in their communities, and of course, some of them in the Central Valley. And so being able to work together and having those relationships will serve our community well as we move forward after May 21st.
There's 30% of the vote in this last election were for Democratic candidates. Both, it seemed pretty close between the special primary and the primary, generally that number. How many are you expecting to vote for you, and are you, I guess, really expecting to win them over?
We're working to earn every single vote in the 20th Congressional District. Again, we're in a results-oriented business. When a voter is deciding who is going to represent them in Congress, they're looking for an effective voice. And so whether you agree with me or disagree with me on a whole host of issues, we need someone that's effective, that can bring a coalition together and has proven to be able to help our community. And so whether you're a Democrat, an independent, or Republican, I'm that candidate that can bring everyone together and ensure that the Central Valley has the most effective voice possible in Washington, D.C.
I've spoken with a few Democrats who say, anyone endorsed by Trump can't do it. What's your message to that person who would maybe, not consider someone who's endorsed by Trump, even despite your accolades and the message that you're putting forward?
I will work with whoever is in office to ensure that our community gets the attention it needs, and that we get the results that we deserve to make sure our community is a better place to live and work. And so I expect President Trump to win the presidential election, and so we need someone that will have that ability to work with him. Whether it's in Congress or in the Senate, we need someone that will be able to work across the aisle. And if you look at my record in Sacramento, I've done that. Serving the super minority to get bills passed and signed into law, I've had to work with my Democratic colleagues and have been able to do that. Every single bill that I've had signed into law has been overwhelmingly supported by Republicans and Democrats.
Can you talk about, I guess this is an issue, unfortunately, that maybe you'll see both here in California, then also in the United States, which is the budget deficit. What do you bring for the budget from your experience here in California dealing with majority Democrats who maybe are adding to the budget, and then, or excuse me, adding to the deficit, and then being able to go into Washington and hopefully affect change?
Well, tackling the budget deficit in California is a serious task, something that I'm dealing with right now as I travel up to Sacramento. As the vice chair of the budget committee, California's budget's a mess. We've overspent. The economy is struggling, and that has been a recipe for fiscal disaster. And so we've got a lot of tough decisions to make. We've got to get the business climate improved so that we can have businesses start in California, grow in California. We need people to stay in California. And that same understanding of how the budget works in California is the same, that knowledge is going to be critically important to tackle the debt that is growing in Washington, D.C. We need to get our fiscal house in order. We've got to rein in spending. We've got to get the economy going again. Those are the core economic principles to good budgeting. And so I'll take that experience and knowledge and expertise that I've gained working on the budget in California, and it will bring hopefully some fiscal sanity to Washington, D.C.
I know you had been passing out ballots for 47 when you were here running for Congress as well. Obviously, that's a California issue, but what can we expect to see from you, and really can we expect to see much from you from the federal level on issues affecting those small businesses in the downtown area in terms of their safety? Is that something that's maybe realistic to see affected and change in Washington?
Well, we've got to get resources to our law enforcement organizations. That's something that I've done in Sacramento and will continue to do in Washington, D.C. We've got to pass common sense laws that actually increase penalties on criminal behavior. We've got to change that in California. I've certainly am supporting the initiative to change Prop 47. We need to increase penalties on criminal activity. There are some bills and legislation that we have, hopefully that we're going to be able to introduce that will be able to end the sanctuary state protections on human traffickers, on fentanyl dealers. I mean, those are common sense measures that would actually do a lot to improve the quality of life here in the Central Valley. And again, there's a lot of bills that we need to do to protect law enforcement, to ensure that they have the ability to protect our communities.
Your opponent is willing to give foreign aid to Israel, not Ukraine. Where do you stand on this issue?
Well, certainly support giving aid to Israel. They're a partner in defeating terrorism and to eliminate Hamas. Of course, when it comes to Ukraine, we got to look at what's going on there. I would have preferred that we linked the Ukraine funding to border security. That is something that has to be done. We have to ensure that the border is the #1 priority. And so if we're going to have a debate on Ukraine, we got to make sure that there are guardrails and ensure where that money is going for. But I would have done border security alongside with it.
And then I guess on the same topic, we reached out to your campaign, and you put your support behind Speaker Johnson. Is that something that you look forward to working with him on issues right away? You're in full support of the Speaker?
Yeah, Speaker Johnson is in strong position in Washington, D.C. I'm very proud of his endorsement. He's got a tough job, and there are some decisions that I may or may not agree with, but at the end of the day, we've got to govern. And to govern, we've got to ensure that we can bring everyone together and have a regular order, have a real debate. Congress is a deliberative body. We're going to agree, we're going to disagree, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to hold our conference together to make sound public policy. In this Central Valley, you have several different representatives, Republicans and Democrats too, who have served this area for a very, very long time. It's not one that we often see flipped seats for the most part. What do you look forward to working with people like David Valadao, people maybe like Tom McClintock or Jim Acosta with on issues once you get there and reaching across the aisle, I guess, with the Jim Costas? Well, there's a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done. Already talking to a lot of these members when we talked about water infrastructure, David Valadao has been leading the charge to ensure that not only do we have the investments that we need to build more water infrastructure, but actually to streamline the process. We have the need for more medical professionals in our community. We need more nurses, we need more doctors, we need more pharmacists. We need to support our distressed hospitals. That's something that I'm working with Jim Costa on, and he's been working on those issues. When we talk about energy resources, we need to expand domestic energy production. The Central Valley is 80% of the oil and natural gas production for California. And so the fact that we're spending billions of dollars as a country to import oil from countries that don't like us, when we have the ability to produce that energy right here, that's something that I look forward to bringing Republicans and Democrats together. Because at the end of the day, one of the #1 issues facing our community is gas prices. not only the residents of the Central Valley, but Californians across the state are rightfully upset that gas prices are on the rise. And why is that? It's because of bad public policy coming from Sacramento and from Washington, D.C. We need to build more refineries. We need to expand domestic oil production, and that can be done right here in the Central Valley.
Last couple questions for you. I spoke with Jay Obernolte last week too. We'll have something coming out with him as far as an emissions story and fighting emission standards here in California. As we've kind of seen as it goes for energy issues, as does California, does the Biden administration, is that something that you expect to see very similar fights on energy when you see them here in California first, maybe in the state assembly, in the state legislature, state government, and then seeing in D.C.?
Absolutely. The fights don't change. They get bigger. And again, the unfortunate situation is that Washington, D.C. is using California as a model when it comes to energy policy, and that's not the way we should do it. California has restricted domestic production. They have not invested in our electricity infrastructure, and we are seeing now the consequences of those poor decisions. You see electricity rates going up, you see gas prices going up, and you see food costs going up because it takes more resources to get food from the store or from the farm to the store. We have to be able to change our energy policy to actually expand affordable energy supply and bring down the cost of production. And so what Sacramento is doing is actually increasing the cost of everything in California, and Washington, D.C. is doubling down on those bad policies, and we need someone that can go and hit the ground running to stop those policies and advocate for common sense. Jay Obernolte, one of them, served with him in the Assembly and look forward to serving with him in Congress.
And last question for you. This has been a fairly humane race as far as the sheriff has been concerned. I know that there is plenty of fodder with court cases and whatnot that he probably could go after you on, and maybe likewise. It seems very humane. He had suggested that he's going to do a reassessment if Tuesday does not go well for him, just depending on what those final election counts look like. How important is it for you to keep that discourse civil, as there's possibly another 6 more months of this going into November, even if one of you is going to be in D.C.?
Well, campaigns are all about ideas. I put my ideas forward, I put out my qualifications, and every single election that has occurred, I've been the top vote getter. And I expect to be successful on May 21st. And so, nothing changes for us. We're focused on getting our message out and telling the voters, why we're qualified to be their voice in Washington, D.C., listening to their concerns. And so, we are doing everything we can, traveling up and down the Central Valley, talking to every single voter. And again, I believe in governing with humility, serving with humility, being accessible to everybody. And so that's what I bring to the table, and I believe that's the message, and that's the message that's resonating, and that's the candidate that voters want.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Murcia with Eyewitness News Bakersfield Now on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have tons of great content to choose from. While you're here, go ahead and click on the subscribe button right there. That way you can stay up to date on all the things related within Kern County. Thanks for watching.